Hello and welcome to a day in 15 minutes UPSC Prelims Daily Current Affairs by Neo IAS. Today is 8th July 2021 and the topics for discussion are the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Maitri Power Project, Non-Fungible Token, and finally the Lambda variant of COVID-19 or the SARS coronavirus 2. In addition to that, we will also be discussing the previous year question revision series. Now coming to the first topic of the day, which is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. See, now this particular dam is in news because Ethiopia has actually started the second phase of filling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Basically speaking, this is not a fully constructed dam right now. The construction of this dam is going on, and this particular dam is being built on the upper Blue Nile region, the Blue Nile River, on the upper Blue Nile River. That is where the construction is going on. However, because of this construction of this dam, there are a few tensions which have risen between Ethiopia and the downstream countries. In this case, it is Sudan and Egypt. So as I told you before, the dam is located in Ethiopia. To be more precise, it is located in the Beni Shagul and Gumuz region of Ethiopia. Now, initially this dam was known as the Millennium Dam, and once this dam is completed or fully constructed, it will be the largest dam in Africa with a height of 145 meters. See, as I told you again, this dam has caused some sort of issues regarding the downstream countries of Sudan and Egypt. The main reason behind why these issues is coming up is that if a large dam on the Nile or the Blue Nile, one of the tributaries of the Nile, if that is constructed over there, then the downstream countries will have significant lower levels of water in the Nile River. And Nile River is one such river which is actually very, very important for the countries in Africa, especially the Nile countries, Sudan, Ethiopia, even Egypt, etc. So for them, a lot of irrigation and people's livelihood are dependent upon this river. So if a huge dam is built on this river, the level of the water will reduce, and that is what is causing a lot of tension. Now let's come to the different stands of the three major players in this particular issue. Coming to the first country, which is Ethiopia. Now what does Ethiopia say? Ethiopia's stand is that this particular dam will be generating approximately 6,000 megawatts of electricity, which will boost the industrial development in that country or in that region. Now it also says the extra electricity that it is producing can be given to the neighboring countries for its own development as well. Then let's come to Egypt's stand. Now you have to understand again, Egypt's main concern is that if the dam is built, the waters in the Nile will reduce. Now the biggest concern with respect to Egypt is that Egypt basically depends on 95 to 97% of the drinking water of Egypt is with the help of Nile. Drinking water as well as the irrigation supplies is with the help of the Nile River. So if the level of the Nile River actually decreases, that is going to be a major challenge for Egypt. Alright, so it is going to jeopardize the people, the livelihood of the people and the agricultural industries. All of that is going to be jeopardized as far as Egypt is concerned. Then let's come to Sudan. Sudan also has a similar issue. It says that if the waters of the Nile is reducing, we are going to lose our resource and drinking water and irrigation supplies will be lost. At the same time, Sudan also has a different stand to take. See, with respect to Sudan, during the flooding months, during the flooding months, if there is a dam which is built on Nile, then during the flooding months, the regulation of the water supply can be controlled, and that can significantly reduce the flooding which is happening in the Nile River, which is in the country of Sudan. So that kind of damage can be controlled. The second thing that Sudan is saying is that with the excess electricity that is being produced by the dam, that will be used by Sudan for the development of the country itself. So Sudan is under a treaty, or it wants to go into a joint management of the dam with Ethiopia. So this is what the complicated stands of Egypt and Sudan actually is. So with that, now let us come and talk about the Nile River as such. See, the Nile River, I'm sure all of you already know this. The Nile River is the longest river in the world And this particular river has three principal rivers or three major rivers which are joining and forming this particular longest river. The first one is Blue Nile, the next one is White Nile, and the third one is the Atbara river. Alright, you can see in the image here that where these three rivers are originating. So if you look at the Blue Nile is originating in Lake Tana, and if you go to the White Nile is originating in nearby Lake Victoria, Lake Albert, that region. And then north of Lake Tana, north of the the Blue Nile, you will have the river Atbara. Now understand, this particular river, the Nile River, actually flows all the way north of Africa, and it forms an accurate delta. Now accurate deltas are those deltas which form a fan shape or a triangular shaped delta. You can see that clearly in the image. In the Egypt delta or the Nile delta in Egypt has a fan like shape, and that is why it is called the accurate delta shape. So the Nile River forms an accurate delta and it finally flows out in the Mediterranean Sea. So with that, we will come to the next topic, the Maitri Power Project. Now the Maitri Power Project, understand, it is actually a power project which is being constructed in Bangladesh. Now the Bangladesh government or Bangladesh has said that the first unit of the Maitri Power Project will be completed by December of this year, that is December of 2021. Now what is the speciality of this particular thermal power plant, or this particular power plant is that it is a super thermal coal fired power station. It's a super thermal power plant and it is going to be constructed in Rampal, Bangladesh. Now the speciality of this thing, or how this power plant is associated with India, is that this power plant is actually developed by the Bangladesh-India Friendship Power Company, the Friendship Power Company between Bangladesh and India. What is this company? This company simply is a joint venture, a 50-50% joint venture between NTPC, that is National Thermal Power Corporation of India, and Bangladesh's Bangladesh Power Development Board. So both these companies are coming together and having a joint venture to develop this particular super thermal power station. Now what is the speciality of super thermal power station? The thing is that this particular power plant will be highly efficient. It is an efficient thermal power plant. Why? Because it will require much less amount of coal to produce the same amount of electricity with lesser amount of greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the speciality of the Maitri power plant. Now if you want more news like this or more current affairs updates like this in a very concise and informative manner, which is going to help you for your current affairs, please join the Current Affairs Plus program of NeoIAS.
Log into neoias.com, go to courses and click on Current Affairs. Select CAP 2021, proceed to checkout and pay.
Now coming to the next topic, which is non-fungible tokens. Now the main reason as to why non-fungible tokens have actually come in news is that recently there was a study, or recently there was a discovery that the market of the non-fungible tokens have grown considerably. Now how much has it grown? From the middle of last year, that is from June, July of last year, that is 2020, to this year, whatever we are in July of this year, the market has significantly grown. It was from $13.7 million to $2.5 billion. The market has grown considerably. Alright, so now let us come and talk about what is a non-fungible token. See, a non-fungible token, or simply an NFT. An NFT is simply a digital file. Now this digital file can be anything. It can be an image, it can be a music composition, it can be anything, any digital file, document, anything, which has a certificate of authenticity, and this certificate of authenticity is created using blockchain technology. Now this is the speciality of a non-fungible token. So what is the speciality of keeping such kind of a document, giving a certificate of authenticity with the help of blockchain technology? The implication is that that particular document or file, that digital file, is going to be extremely unique and highly digitally rare. They're going to be unique. If you, for example, if you take any document and put it through the blockchain technology, that document is going to be unique. Even if you make a copy of that particular document, it is not going to be the same, because the new document is obviously going to be a copy of it, because of the fact that the blockchain technology makes it highly unique using cryptographic principles. Okay, so basically fraudulent means of copying or manipulating that particular file is not going to be possible. So now let us come to and talk about the concept of fungibility. Now, what do you understand by the terminology fungibility? Now, fungibility basically means it is the ability of an asset to be exchanged with another asset, another similar asset, without losing its own value. For example, if I have a 100 rupee note, and another person also has a 100 rupee note, I can exchange that particular 100 rupee note with my friend. At the same time, the 100 rupee note which I get will have the same value of 100 rupees itself. There is not going to be any change in value. But when it comes to non-fungible tokens, in this particular case, such kind of fungibility is not possible. You cannot exchange an NFT with any other similar kind of an NFT. You cannot do that, because each and every NFT that you have is highly unique. Okay, that is the whole point regarding NFT. It is highly unique, and because of that, you cannot directly trade it. You can sell it or purchase it using any kind of money, but you cannot create another copy of it and then exchange it with something else. That is the whole concept behind the NFT. Now, see, what you have to understand, why did this huge market of NFTs grows is that many of the artists after the coronavirus pandemic created a lot of content, but they could not sell it. They could not go to various dealers and sell their products. So they got this NFT done, they got the certificate of authenticity, and after that they sold it into the open market. Again, with the help of various other means, they can actually directly trade it for another type of money, or give it to other companies who would do it for them. So this is how this particular NFT actually started. Okay, now coming to the next topic, which is the Lambda variant of COVID-19. Now coming to the Lambda variant, or simply the LV, the Lambda variant is the latest or newest variant of the SARS coronavirus 2. Now this particular variant was first identified in Peru. However, right now it is spread over many countries in South America. Initially it was spread over a few handful of countries in South America. Right now it is said that the Lambda variant is spread over 25 countries in and around that region. Now, understand this particular variant, that is the Lambda variant, has been designated by the World Health Organization as a variant of interest. So, what do you mean by variant of interest? Variant of interest are those specific variant of this virus which the scientists have already predicted that such kind of changes can happen. They've already predicted these things. Okay, so this is the newest and the 7th variant which is coming under variant of interest designated by WHO. At the same time, you have to also understand, as of now, the World Health Organization has declared 4 variants as variant of concern. Now, what is the difference between variant of interest and variant of concern? Variant of interest is that, as I already told you, those variants wherein scientists have already kind of assumed, already know how the changes regarding this particular virus is going to take place. They already kind of guessed that. But when it comes to variant of concern, the infectability and spreadability of this particular virus is much more higher than that of what the scientists had predicted. So as of now, we have 4 variants of concern, which is alpha, beta, gamma, and finally delta. Now there is a fear among the scientific community that the Lambda variant also might be the next variant of concern. Okay, so as I told you, the Lambda variant has at least 7 significant mutations in the spike protein. Understand the Delta variant, which was the one which is really dangerous right now. This only has 3 specific mutations, but the Lambda variant has 7 mutations. And this is the reason why it can have a very high range of transmissibility and enhanced resistance to antibodies. Now, as far as the coronavirus is concerned, simply you have to understand, it is the spike protein that actually binds to the human cell. Okay, and it is a spike protein that initiates the process of infection by binding itself to the human body or the human cell. So that's all regarding the news. Now let us come to the previous year question revision series. So let's read about the question which is there. Now the question goes, with reference to the religious history of India, consider the following statements. The first statement is, Sthaviravadins belong to the Mahayana Buddhism. The next one, the second statement, Lokotavardhan sect was an offshoot of the Mahasangika sect of Buddhism. And the third statement is, the deification of Buddhism by Mahasangikas fostered the Mahayana Buddhism. Alright, so I want all of you to answer the question. This is the question, you have 4 options here, A, B, C and D. I want all of you to try this particular question and give the answer in the comment section below. Now we'll come and discuss the question that we had given yesterday. So if you remember yesterday's question, we had given 4 rivers and where it actually flows into. So a few of you had answered this particular question and the answer to this question is option C. So we'll discuss this thing. Coming to the first question, which is the Mekong River. You understand? Mekong River is a river that flows in Southeast Asia, through Laos, Vietnam and all. I'm sorry, not in Vietnam, in Myanmar. It goes through Myanmar and it flows into the South China Sea, not into the Andaman Sea. Okay, so that is one thing. The next one is the River Thames, which flows in, the United Kingdom, and it flows through London, and this particular river flows into the North Sea and not into the Irish Sea. Okay, the North Sea is on the eastern side of the United Kingdom, while the Irish Sea is on the western side of the United Kingdom. While Volga drains into the Caspian Sea and Zambezi drains into the Indian Ocean. So option 3 and 4 are correct. So the answer is option C. I hope you found this particular segment informative. Thank you and have a good day.